What is going on, everybody? Today, I am going to be reading an original story by myself. On the reservation, there are stories you hear when you were little. It explained the things that go bump in the night. The stories were told by the elders of the community or your own grandparents. The stories were about creatures, monsters, witches, and spirits. The stories were not allowed to be spoken during the seasons of spring, summer, and fall. The winter was the time for stories, not just because of us being stuck in the house, but because we were told the trees were always listening, and the trees like to talk. The creatures and monsters would then hear us talking about them, and they don't like that. During the winter, the trees were dormant, so they can't hear us talking. You can read a lot of Native American myths and legends from books or even documentaries, but hearing them from your elder is something else. Me growing up on the reservation allowed me to hear many stories about stone giants and little people hiding in holes in the woods. But there is one creature I have heard of the most. I cannot say his name 3 times, in fear of the creature appearing in the night. Whistling at night also calls the creature. I'm not going to type the name in fear of you trying to summon this creature yourself. I do believe in the creature. You may not believe me, but I have seen one. I have looked into its piercing yellow eyes, stared at the chilling gray bones, and was petrified by its razor-sharp fangs. I didn't know what it was then, but I do now. 10 years ago, I was 9, a boy full of adventure, wonder, and courage. On the reservation, there was no internet, and smartphones were not as big as they are now. The only entertainment I had was my cousins and the outdoors, which was a great combination. I had 3 first cousins that lived right next to me. My grandfather had always warned us about being outside after dark. We never knew why, but we didn't question him. We just knew we had to listen to him because we didn't want to be in trouble. When we were younger, we had played the standard kid games like house, tag, and hide and seek. When you are a kid, time flies by. Our brains cannot wrap around the concept of it. That was our problem. We just had fun. We didn't worry about the time. After all of our arguments about who was it and what we were going to play next, the sun started to set. The sweet orange glow in the sky was now a cold and unforgiving darkness. We were in the woods, alone, just the 4 of us. We were confused and scared. How could it be dark already? It was just sunny out, I said. My cousin Jordy started to tear up. I want to go home. I replied with, I know. We will get home. Trust me. Honestly, I had no clue how to get home. But because I was always the leader of the group, Jaden, Ariana, and Jordy always looked to me when we were in trouble, even though the 2 girls were older than me. Of course, we always carried a small pocket knife in our grandfather's spotlight when we went into the woods. The spotlight was bright, but it didn't help. All we could see were trees, and some more trees. The trees looked like figures with multiple arms surrounding us. It seemed like we were being swallowed by darkness. As I led the charge home, I tried tracking our footsteps back, when suddenly they just stopped. I was more confused than ever. How could they just stop? I thought. We were just here, and our footsteps are gone. I needed to think. What are we going to do now? I couldn't let them know I was scared. This way! Home is this way! I had to pretend to be confident. I didn't want them more scared than they already were. On our march home, it was quiet. The only sound we heard was the sticks and leaves being crushed under our feet until we came to a clearing. In the clearing, the light from the spotlight was swallowed by the void. It was eerie. I had the bright idea to sing a song. I wanted to lighten the mood since we were all on edge. While singing, one of us started to whistle until we heard a movement other than our own. We stopped dead in our tracks and shined our light in the direction of the movement. The trees were swaying and the wind was howling through them. It had seemed as if my whole body was turned to stone, except for my heart, which was beating faster than ever. There was no hiding I was scared anymore. The movement seemed like it was all around us. I wanted to say that I thought I was the wind, but I knew that it wasn't. It was something else. Just as fast as everything started moving, it stopped. The noise, the movement, it all stopped. I didn't think. I didn't move. I didn't say anything. I was frozen in fear. We all were. Then, that was the moment. That was when my whole perspective changed. I knew we made a mistake going into the woods. I knew it wasn't just my imagination. As I tilted the beam of light upward toward the original movement that we heard, the light revealed something. Something you had only seen in your nightmares.